Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad you decided to tune in. Fans, we have a good show for you today. We're going to break down the Dodgers and the San Diego Padres series. I'm super excited to break that down. And we're going to have an abbreviated down the farm segment because most of the minor league teams last night got washed out. The only two teams that were actually in action were the AAA Oklahoma City Dodgers and then the Single A Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. So we'll cover those two games, but it's going to be abbreviated down on the farm segment. That gives us more time to talk about and set up the big series between the first place Los Angeles Dodgers and the third place San Diego Padres tonight at Petco Park in San Diego. So super excited about that. Before we get into all that, just a reminder, if you'd like to help Dodgers Daily by donating, we now do have a link to donate in the description, so just click that if you'd like to help Dodgers Daily by donating. Also, if you like this video and if you like this kind of content, go ahead and click that like button, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily. Become a subscriber. After you subscribe, click that notification bell, turn on your notifications. That way, every time Dodgers Daily releases a new video, you'll be notified. You won't miss a thing. Dodgers Daily will keep growing, and we keep doing what we love to do, which is providing videos like this in the future. Okay, it's the Dodgers and the Padres. The Dodgers come in with a 6-game winning streak. The Padres have been playing very well as of late today, so it promises to be a whole lot of fun. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it, and let's talk Dodgers baseball. So the Dodgers come into tonight's matchup at Petco Park in San Diego in first place, believe that or not, with all the, we've talked about all the trials and tribulations, all the changes, the injuries, the paternity list, some of the struggles, the incorporation of rookies, the incorporation of new guys. The Dodgers, they are on pace to win 96 games and are in first place. So Dodgers fans have to be super excited about the way this team has scratched and clawed to get back into first place and back onto a pace to win 96 games, going into with a lot of momentum, a huge series tonight against what a lot of people thought was the front runner for the NL West this year, and still might be the Padres because, they've done so well in free agency as of late. They've gone out and spent all of this money on these free agents, but so far only 17-15, third place for the Padres, although they are playing a lot better as of late. Like we said, the Dodgers come into this series. Another part of this is fun. Dodgers come in winning 6 in a row. The Padres come in winning 4 out of the last 5. And if you extend that out, they've been playing a lot better here in the last week and a half. Okay, so game 1 tonight, it is the King, the Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw versus the 7-pitch mix of Darvish, and we're going to break down the pitch mix and all the matchups and all the things the Dodgers need to do to beat Darvish. If you remember the last time Darvish threw against the Dodgers, you might not want to remember because it was shutout baseball for him. He threw really well against LA in the postseason last year. I believe it was like 5 innings he threw in that game, maybe a little bit more than that. It was scoreless baseball, and he did a good job for the Padres and helped them win that game in the postseason last year. So bad memories from the last time the Dodgers faced Darvish. Hopefully tonight is a different case scenario and a different outcome for Los Angeles. Okay, so Darvish, what makes him good? It's the unpredictability. He has 7 pitches, but not only does he have 7 pitches, okay, you never know which pitch he is going to throw at any given time. He has a sweeper, the 4-seam, slider, split finger, cutter, sinker, curveball. Now, granted, the sweeper and the slider and the curveball all kind of are the same pitch. Sometimes the sweeper looks like a slider, sometimes it looks like a curveball. So, hey, they are separated into 3 different pitches, but many times you could combine all 3 of those into one pitch based on the count, based on how it's being thrown. So, listed as a 7-pitch mix, okay, and the thing about it, like I said, the balance that he pitches with, he throws his sweeper the most, which is, what we used to call a slurve, kind of in between a curveball and a slider. It's not necessarily the depth that a curveball gets, and it's not necessarily the horizontal that a slider gets. It's kind of in between those two, that sweeper type pitch. He throws that the most, but check this out. That's only 23% of the time. So when your number one pitch that you throw the most is less than a quarter of a time, that tells you that you use your full arsenal. You are willing to throw any pitch in any count. And for a hitter, it makes it very difficult to sit on any one pitch and say, hey, I'm just going to spit on everything else. I'm going to sit on this one pitch, and if I get it, I'm going to hit it. You can't do that as a hitter. So what do the Dodgers hitters need to do to beat Darvish? We're going to get into that here in just a minute. Okay, so he throws his sweeper 23% of the time. Then he throws his four-seam 22% of the time, his slider 21% of the time. Then the rest of his pitches, he doesn't throw a whole lot. His splitter just 11, and then every other one of his pitches are less than 10% of the time. So really, you're looking for the sweeper, you're looking for the four-seam fastball, and you're looking for the slider tonight. The rest of them, really, if he throws that pitch, you're probably just going to hope that he doesn't throw them for a strike, which, good thing for the Dodgers, he doesn't do a lot of when you talk about his split finger fastball and all the pitches that he throws less than 10% of the time. Okay, so the sweeper, let's talk about that pitch. We mentioned that he throws that the most, okay, at 23% of the time. So what kind of a pitch is it? How effective is it? Okay, he throws it the most, like I said, and it has the highest whiff rate. That's one of the things that makes him effective is when the pitch that you throw the most also is the least hittable. It gets you the highest amount of swing and miss. That's a good combination for a pitcher, and that's why, Yudarvish has leaned on that sweeper pitch so much this year. Okay, but the thing about it is he gets a lot of swing and miss because it's only in the zone a little over half the time, about 53.5% of the time is all that he throws his sweeper for a strike. So that tells you that he relies on hitters chasing the sweeper out of the zone. It has such a big movement to it that, what hitters do whenever they try to recognize off-speed pitches and whether to actually swing at them or not, the two things they do is that they try to pick up spin, and once they pick up spin, after they do, they try to pick up the starting location of that pitch. So let's say that you pick up curveball spin, okay, so you see that round dot, all right, and that tells you, hey, I've got curveball spin. All right, so where's the starting location? Well, if that starting location is right down the middle and you have curveball spin, that tells you right there, that tells your brain to shut down. Don't swing at that pitch because if it does what it's supposed to, it's going to tumble out of the zone. Whereas if you get that same curveball spin and the location is, say, right here, okay, then hey, that thing's going to drop a little bit and it's going to drop right down into the zone. That's a pitch that's probably going to be a strike and one that I can swing at. Okay, so hitters, they look for spin, they look for location, and then also, hey, if you look at your hand, the hitter's hand, if you see palm, that's fastball. That's why a changeup is such a great pitch, because a changeup comes out of the hand and the hitter sees that palm. So when they see that palm, they're thinking fastball, but yet it's 10 miles an hour slower than the fastball, and there is nothing for the hitter to pick up on, and so their timing, there is no way for it to be good. Whereas if you get a slider or a sweeper type pitch, a hitter can pick up an indication by, you're going to see the side of the pitcher's hand because they're trying to get on the side of it to turn it sideways to get that horizontal movement. Okay, so, if a hitter sees the side of the hand, he knows it's going to be something that has horizontal movement to it. And if you see the back of the hand right here, then it's going to have tumble and downward movement, and that's also going to tell you as far as the starting location of a pitch. So if you see the back of the hand and that ball is going to go down, if the pitch starts, say, in the middle of the zone or anything below the belt, that's not going to end up being a strike. Those are some of the tricks that high-level hitters are able to use in a split second. That's how difficult hitting is. And so, whenever you have a 7-pitch mix, those are all the things that you have to do to identify spin, to identify pitch, and then starting location, because if you chase the zone on Darvish, you are not going to hit him. He's going to throw the kitchen sink at you, and he's going to continue to make pitches look like strikes. So what he does is he'll throw a pitch, and the starting location is a strike, right? So he'll make the hitter see the baseball, and it looks like it's in the strike zone because that's where it starts. And then all of a sudden it'll tumble and fade, or it'll tumble and turn out of the zone. Next thing you know, the hitter's swinging. It's a swinging strike because the ball breaks out of the zone, and that's really what Darvish relies on for most of his swing and miss. Okay, so again, his sweeper that has its highest whiff rate thrown only 53% of the time. So the Dodgers need to recognize the side of the hand. They need to recognize, hey, this is sweeper spin. Here's the starting location. Based on the starting location and the spin that I got, is that going to be a strike or not? If the Dodgers can do that, if they can decipher that formula, hey, this spin based on this starting location is or is not going to be a strike, if the Dodgers can figure that formula out, they will beat Darvish. If they don't, then Darvish will do what he did to him last year and like he's done to a lot of hitters over his career, and the Dodgers will be chasing the strike zone, and you'll be getting a lot of swing and miss and weak contact all night. That is the cat and mouse game right there. With the 7 pitches, Darvish is going to try to, it's like a mirage. It's like a defense in football to where you're actually trying to run one type of coverage on the back end, but you're disguising it pre-snap. So the quarterback may think it's one coverage, and then after the snap, you break into a different coverage. That's kind of what Darvish tries to do to hitters. So that's going to be a fun cat and mouse game to watch all night. Hey, watch the starting location of these breaking pitches and see if the Dodgers can locate that as well. Okay, his 4-seam fastball, here's the thing about that, that to go to the next level, to feed off of what I just talked about. The 4-seam for Darvish is 94.5 miles an hour, which, hey, that's a good pitch. It's not the ridiculous high 90s that we see nowadays from a lot of guys, but that is a good pitch. So here's the deal with the 4-seam. It gets a lot of weak contact for him, and here's why. Because when hitters are chasing the zone on the sweeper, when hitters are chasing the zone on the slider, then the offensive hitters get behind in the count, and when the hitters get behind in the count and or Darvish gets ahead in the count as the pitcher, then he can locate his 4-seam to wherever he wants. He can work the edges. He can work the boundaries. He can work the black parts of the plate. He can work a couple of inches off the plate. He can make pitchers pitches with his 4-seam. Whereas if the Dodgers lay off of the sweepers that aren't in the zone, if the Dodgers lay off the split finger, definitely the split finger, that's not in the zone. If the Dodgers lay off the slider, that's not in the zone. Instead of the hitters being behind the count, they're going to be ahead in the count. And when the hitters get ahead in the count, instead of that 4-seam working the edges like Darvish wants it to do, he's going to have to work more of the middle of the plate, and that's when you can do damage on that 4-seam fastball. So that's another cat and mouse game, is whether the Dodgers can get into plus counts by laying off the off speed to get into a situation to where they get more hittable fastballs from Darvish. That is the game right there offensively for the Dodgers. And the good thing about that is, that's pretty much the formula the Dodgers go by is, hey, recognize spin, recognize starting points, recognize, all the tips to let you know what type of pitch is going to be, and only swing at strikes, work pitch counts, grind pitchers. So, hey, is Darvish going to be ahead in the count all day, all night long because the Dodgers are swinging at the wrong pitches, whether it be swinging at balls or taking strikes? Or will the Dodgers hitters be ahead in the counts all night because they do identify the correct pitches, and it's very difficult to do when a pitcher, again, has 7 different pitches. The split finger is another one of those that, hey, it's going to come out of the hand. It's going to look like a fastball. All of a sudden, it's going to tumble. Okay, so can you pick up that shake of the split finger, and then after you pick up, hey, the shake of the split finger, can you pick up the starting location? And based on the starting location, can you make a correct swing decision as to whether it is going to be a strike or not? So that is going to be tough. Okay, as far as the split finger, Darvish only throws it for a strike a third of the time. So if you see the shake, it comes out and kind of shakes like that. If you see that, just assume it's going to be a ball, okay, right? Because almost 67% of the time it is. And, that's another pitch to where if the Dodgers lay off of it, they're going to be in plus counts, get better 4-seam fastballs to hit, which is the pitch that they want to, the pitch they want to hit off a Darvish is that 4-seam, but they want it to be a hittable 4-seam by being ahead in the count. Okay, so the split finger there. Okay, so I oversimplified things as far as, or maybe I too complicated them, I don't know, as far as the cat and mouse games, laying off the off-speed pitches to get to the better fastballs to hit. That's it in a nutshell for me. Those are the things to watch out for as far as the Dodgers versus Darvish tonight. I think Clayton Kershaw, with that slider, he threw his curveball a little bit more last time. It'll be an interesting matchup. And the thing I think a lot of Dodgers fans have been worried about as far as playing the Padres is, hey, what's going to happen when he plays San Diego with the stolen base department? Okay, well, surprisingly to me at least, the Dodgers are actually tied for 13th in the major leagues with stolen bases, and they actually have 5 more stolen bases on the year than the Padres do. So as far as the stolen base game coming into tonight, the Dodgers have actually been better in that category than the Padres. So that's a good stat to get to as far as, hey, thinking that at least the Dodgers, they don't, from a statistical perspective, it doesn't look like they stand to at least lose games because of the running game. Of course, you never know. We'll see how it goes. But I was surprised to find out the Dodgers actually have been better in the stolen base category as far as stealing bases themselves. And I talk all the time, hey, you're not magically overnight going to go from 13% throwing runners out to the 25% that you want. So the way that you have to, at least equal that out for, to make it to where you're not losing games because of the running game is that you need to start stealing more bases yourself to equal that out. So now maybe you're throwing guys out at, say, a 17, 18% clip, but now you're also stealing bases on the other side to equal that out. The Dodgers have done that. So, they're tied for 13th in the major leagues, which is, pretty much right there in the middle, if not, towards the northern part of the middle of the pack in the major leagues at 21 stolen bases, 5 better than the Padres. Okay, Tatis Jr., how about him? The factor for him, of course, we remember him as a shortstop. He is now a right fielder. He has played right field for the Padres in all 12 games that he has played in, and he's only hitting .255 so far for the Padres, and his OPS is just .693. So it's not like he's been Babe Ruth or some mammoth offensive player for them since he has returned. But, it's kind of that snowball effect. Whenever you have Tatis, one of your better players, back in the lineup, then that just makes one more guy in the lineup that is dangerous. And so then everybody else gets to kind of move around to where they want to be in the order, and then they get better pitches to hit, and it just makes your whole entire offense better. So although Tatis Jr. only .255 since he's been back in his 12 games, only a .693 OPS. Hey, the Padres, they have won 8 out of their last 12 games. 8 out of the 12 games, I should say, that Tatis Jr. has played in since he has been back. So he has definitely made a positive impact for this Padres team since he's been back. As I said, 8-4 since in the 12 games since Tatis has been back with the Padres. Okay, so how about some statistical comparisons between the two teams? The Dodgers, how about runs scored? The Dodgers have 45 more runs scored than the Padres. Of course, we talked about that. At least until the last couple of series, most of them came in their wins. The struggles have been in their losses. So the Dodgers have been substantially better than the Padres as far as scoring runs, and that's in the exact same amount of games. So Dodgers 45 more runs. Dodgers have been better in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, and home runs. So the Dodgers have been better across the board offensively. You look at ERAs, they are virtually identical between the two teams. Okay, as far as relief pitching, Padres have been a little bit better. We've seen the Dodgers be leaky from time to time on the back end. Alexvesia just got optioned down. He had been one of the leakiest guys as far as that bullpen goes. So we'll see if the Victor Gonzalez, if he continues to pitch the way he has, if that bullpen shores up going down the stretch. But to this point, the Padres have been a little bit better. The Los Angeles relievers have an ERA of 4.43. San Diego's relievers at 4.11. Okay, and then also it's on the road at Petco Park, and don't you know that place is going to be rocking. I'm not going to lie. I enjoy watching the Dodgers play at Petco Park. I enjoy watching the Petco Park crowd because they have a hell of a lot of fun watching their Padres play. They want to watch their Padres beat the Dodgers. And in my opinion, that only helps Los Angeles. Whenever you already have your Division I in June, and basically you're just playing out the string for a couple of months, I don't really think that does anybody any good. I don't think that does the front office any good. I don't think it does your position players any good whenever you're just kind of playing out the string. I think iron sharpens iron. And so whenever especially your biggest rivals like the Giants and the Padres, when they have good teams and you have to get excited for series like this and you really have to bust it to beat them, I think that helps because I think that keeps you sharp. I think that keeps, the front office in the mode of, hey, we need to figure out a way to win every single game. We can't just go long-term, long picture on this deal. We have to go a little bit more short-term and figure out every single day what the best plan is. So I think whenever the Padres are good, when San Francisco is good, of course, obviously you want the Dodgers to be even better, but I think that just helps Los Angeles because I think it keeps them sharp. So I can't tell you how excited I am about this game tonight. It is going to be super fun to watch. It is the King, the Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw versus the former Dodger, Darvish. So, hey, be there. We will have all the coverage as far as the results of Game 1 tomorrow. But, hey, that concludes our preview of the series and tonight's game. So, hey, we are now going to move to an abbreviated part of our minor league show, part of the show as far as covering the minor leagues, because, again, only 2 of the teams were in action last night due to weather, the AAA Oklahoma City Dodgers. And to be honest with you, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about their game anyways. And then also the Rancho Cucamonga, not the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, but the Great Lakes Loons. How could I say that? So, okay, so let's not waste more time. Let's get right to it, and let's take a trip down the farm. The Oklahoma City Dodgers, they scored 2 in the 5th inning, and that was all they were able to muster against the pitching of the El Paso Chihuahuas. I love their facility there. They do a great job of supporting that team there in El Paso. A brand new facility there in El Paso that is absolutely gorgeous. But, hey, only 2 runs for the Dodgers. And, by the way, El Paso, they are the AAA affiliates of the San Diego Padres. Only 2 runs for the AAA Oklahoma City Dodgers, and only 4 guys got hits, and they all had single hits. Actually, 5 guys. Luke Williams had a hit, Hunter Fiducia, Ryan Ward, Steven Duggar, and then Justin Yurchak, who you're seeing right here. Dylancovey had the start. Not a bad start for him. Matter of fact, a good start. He went 5 innings, gave up 1 earned run. Andrejackson had a good bounce back. 2 scoreless innings for him. And then Alexvesia, boy, he just absolutely struggled last night. In 1/3 of an inning, he gave up 5 earned runs on 4 hits, and like I said, 5 earned runs, and he had no strikeouts and a walk. And then Jakereed finished 2/3 of an inning by giving up 2 runs towards the end as well. So good start for Dylancovey. Good bounce back for Andrejackson. Not real good offense for AAA Oklahoma City. They lost 8-2 last night to the AAA affiliates of the San Diego Padres, the El Paso Chihuahuas. Hey, this is Justin Yurchak. It was great to see him back and at what he does best, and that is absolutely hit. He is one of the most underrated hitters in the organization. The young man out of Binghamton, he just absolutely hits and hits and hits. 2 years ago when Miguel Vargas won the AA hitting champion, Justin Yurchak actually had a batting average that was like 35 points higher than Vargas's, but since Yurchak jumped levels from high A to AA so late, Yurchak did not have enough at-bats at the AA level to qualify, so he didn't qualify to be the at the time AA Central hitting champion. It's always been the Texas League. It is back to Texas League again. But hey, check this out. In 2021, Justin Yurchak, the young Binghamton alum, he hit 365 over 2 levels, high A, Great Lakes, AA Tulsa. Then he got off to a really slow start last year. It's like, wow, Justin Yurchak is struggling. And then, I kept telling people, hey, let the season play out. Over 500 at-bats, you'll see that Justin Yurchak, you'll see the type of hitter he really is. And lo and behold, he hit 326, he hit 391 in July, 326 in August, 292 in September to have his average right around 300 to finish last year. So this young man, Justin Yurchak, he can absolutely hit. He's been on the developmental list quite a bit this year. I don't know exactly what the story is for that. So he only has 10 at-bats, and in those 10 at-bats, he has 4 hits. Well, the Great Lakes Loons just keep on keeping on. They won last night to move their record to 15-9. They scored 1 run in the 2nd. They scored a pair in the 6th, and then won the 8th, thanks in part to Yuniorgarcia that you're seeing right here. Some impressive pitching last night for Great Lakes. Yoncastro started. Jack Dreyer came in through an inning and 2/3. By the way, Castro, he threw 5 scoreless innings. He had 5 strikeouts, just 2 walks. Jack Dreyer, the young man, the lefty out of Iowa, did a great job throwing an inning and 2/3 scoreless. He also had 3 strikeouts as well. And then Jakepilarski got his Midwest League leading 8 save, and I'm excited to show you his video from the game last night because, in my opinion, last night might have been his most impressive outing so far since he's joined the Dodgers. But who you're seeing right here is Yuniorgarcia, who I'll tell you what, this young man, he started slow last year again, as well as he kind of has this year. But I'll tell you what, when the weather warms up, so does he. How about this? Last year in May, he hit 245, so he was off to a little bit of a slow start. Then all of a sudden, June, 337, 308 in July, and then 431 in August. So like I said, as the weather warms up, so does Yuniorgarcia. He likes to have all those dances as he hits home runs and jogs around the bases as well. I need to learn some of those. Of course, I might be a little bit old. I don't think I could pull any of those off at this stage in my life. But hey, a lot of fun for Yuniorgarcia. And think about him too. As I just mentioned, once he gets hot, he stays hot. Yoncastro had a very good outing last night to continue his very good year. Castro has been very, very good. He went 5 innings scoreless last night. He gave up just 3 hits, and he had 5 strikeouts. Yoncastro's ERA on the year is just 2.14. His whip is just 0.95. And he has a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. So great job for Yoncastro. A really good start last night for the Great Lakes Loons. There's Ismail Alcantara catching that ball right there. Izzy is a really good player. Alex Freeland at shortstop, you're seeing on your screen. So Castro, that good 4-seam up in the zone. He was around 92 to 94 last night. And then that good changeup that you saw right there at 79 miles an hour. Pretty good speed differential. He also mixes that and pairs that with a good slider as well. So there's that 92-mile-an-hour fastball for Yoncastro. So good job, young man. Good start for the Great Lakes Loons. There's that tremendous changeup. Well, I'll tell you what, we're used to the one-on-one express coming in and just really not having any problems, just blowing through hitters. Of course, I'm talking about Jakepilarski. I call him the one-on-one express because he can hit 100-plus miles an hour. But last night, man, you looked up. If you look on your screen here, bases loaded. There was just 1 out. And instead of, relying on that heat like he has in the past, he threw 5 changeups to finish the last. Look at that changeup right there at 86 miles an hour. Look at that changeup at 86. He threw 5 changeups, and then he finished the last hitter off with a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Look at that changeup. So after he got into trouble with the bases loaded, he trusted his changeup enough to throw it. With just 1 out, he threw 5 of them combined to the last 2 hitters. Look at that one right there. He got a strikeout to get the second out that you saw right there on your screen. And then the last out of the game was a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. So in a lot of ways, last night was the most impressive outing, in my opinion, for Jakepilarski. I love that intensity, that dog mentality. He is just awesome to watch. Must-see TV, Jakepilarski, the one-on-one express. So there you have it. There's our show for today. There is our preview of the Los Angeles Dodgers and San Diego Padres series. I am so super pumped. And like I said, an abbreviated trip down on the farm. So I hope you enjoyed today's show. I hope you also tune in tomorrow. And hey, before we get out of here, one last reminder, if you would like to help Dodgers Daily by donating, we do now have the link in the description. Just click that link. It'll take you right to where you need to go to help Dodgers Daily by donating if you would like to do so. And also, if you like this video and if you like this kind of content, click the like button, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily, become a subscriber, and click the notification bell. That way, every time Dodgers Daily releases a new video, you'll be notified. You won't ever miss a thing from Dodgers Daily. Dodgers Daily can keep growing, and we can keep doing what we love, which is providing content like this in the future. As always, thanks for tuning in, and go Dodgers.